Number one, I don't know who this guy is, but when people go out of their way to do stuff like this, you know it's special. I do like how there's only 5 bullet points, though, out of 6 games. That's cute. Alright, so what's his complaint here? Lx complains about Crown not stealing away the wraiths from Trashy while Wunder was roaming down. Had Crown gone to wraiths, he would have died to Wunder and Trashy. Okay, so let's see what happens. Hold on, let's go back. By the way, I'm not in a mood to be like humorous or whatever. I'm really fucking sick. I've been sick for about 8 days. And when I'm casting, I am literally on 1200 milligrams of ibuprofen every 6 hours and Mucinex, and my asthma's bad. So I'm not in a mood to like fucking. There's not gonna be any humor. We're not gonna fucking flame people. We're just gonna address the point and, you know, whatever. Okay, so what just happened? Cuvée, this was where they roam, right? And they kill Zencooks. Hold on. Oh man, this hotel internet is absolutely terrible, by the way. Okay. Alright, so they kill Zencooks. Crown's gonna obviously shove the wave. This is pretty standard. Lsxyz over here, they know where Graves is. And then you can see Gnar, but I don't think that Cuvée has intel on it. The thing is about the wraiths, okay, is it's not difficult for Crown to walk right here, or even right here, and max range laser. That's a very standard move. Denies like 30 gold from Graves, denies a little bit of experience, it's just a little bit of salt added to the wound. I can't remember, there's 3 monitors that we have at the analyst desk. I can't remember what Victor's gold value is. The problem is these minions aren't going to auto-attack this wave. So the lane's going to reset anyway. Even if Crown walks up and E's this wave, he's going to E it. Cassiopeia's death timer is going to be at like 12 seconds. If Crown elects to actually E the entire wave, that means that this incoming minion wave will actually go onto the tower. And because that they have vision of Trashy and the bottom lane has complete vision of Kabi and Mickey X, they know that there's no aid that's coming from Jinx, or there's no Tom Kent shenanigans. So if this is going to be the case, and Kled just shoved in the lane on top, and now he's gone missing, okay, there's one of 2 things that Kled can do. Either, well, actually, there's one of 3. There is potentially a ward behind Crown, in which case he still has flash, and I'm using that as a reference point for teleport. Because there is some wonky things that they could try to do with teleport, but it would require Cassiopeia to eventually come alive, and it would be centered around Dragon, so that's whatever. So okay, there's one of 3 things. There's the teleport, there is Kled's roam down through river, and there is Kled recalling into running down mid, and then trying to kill Crown straight up with Trashy. Like, just straight up kill him. None of these 3 things are influenced by Crown walking right here. Okay, let me pray the epic pen works. Hold on. Nope, I just exited out. Let me pray epic pen works. So Crown walks right here, max range E. He doesn't die. There's literally 0 ways that he dies there. He just eats the wraiths, and he backs off. I mean, it's pretty standard, because what ends up happening is Victor at this point in the game, okay, he doesn't want to eat the entire Wraith camp. Also, because Cassiopeia's death timer is the way that it is, and there's this incoming minion wave, it would be really nice just to steal these little Wraiths, eat this wave, and guarantee that this wave crashes into turret. So this is really standard. Any high MMR mid laner would know that this is a pretty standard play. It's a very greedy play, so I mean, that I think this is pretty basic. So he wouldn't have died to Wunder or Trashy, because I think if we play it out, he even stays. See, he wouldn't even need to do this. I think this was a little bit greedy. The how far up he played. Now, his positioning, as you noticed, Victor was actually further backwards than he was right now. And we also knew that Wraith was coming up, because again, there's one of 3 options that Splice has available. There's either the teleport flank, if there's a ward that Samsung's not aware of, there's Gnar running down mid, or there's Gnar running down a river. all of which is accounted for, and you can see that it's accounted for before this even happens. So even if Crown stepped up and lasered that wave, and then if he pulls down southeast and he comes to here and then just does a death ray, it's super standard. And he's never dying to Wunder here, and they were totally prepared for this, so that's whatever. Alice again blames Crown for not stealing Wraiths with 0 vision at 500 HP. When Wunder has teleport and can easily TP behind him, cut him off, and kill him. Alright, let's see. So, Trashy just went down. Wunder just went down. Tom Kench is right here. Sencooks is coming up mid. Okay, so the only ward that they have to teleport to is this pink ward. And you see, the problem with this is if Crown had walked over with Rumble, okay, and this incoming minion wave is coming, Sencooks without any sort of summoner spells is not going to be like, hey, let me just chase them through Wraiths. Alright, so if when Crown was over here with Rumble and he goes through like this, together, alright, Crown is going to be able to eat Wraiths and then wrap around over here and probably recall around this brush. Again, standard. If you view it from Sencooks' point of view, yeah, okay, he has vision right here, he has vision right here. Okay, you see Lsxy right here on Ambition. If Crown and Rumble are both going over there, are you really going to devote a teleport to kill Crown? Now, the teleport doesn't kill Crown. That's just number one. Kled doesn't have ultimate. Gravity field, plus the fact that he has the movement speed bonus from Q, plus the shield that he would get from the Q. He's never dying to Kled, ever. Cassiopeia can't even actually aid Gnar in this. She doesn't have ultimate, she doesn't have flash, she doesn't have ghost. Okay, it's a very standard move. You get a lot of gold out of it. You get about 90 gold, which is, nothing to scoff at. You get an XP. You get more XP, and we already see that Crown already has a level advantage over Senkook. So again, a very standard move. He's not going to die ever, and you don't need any vision because you don't need vision of this. You can use the information that has been provided in recent seconds as all the information that you need. If you know that, okay, Jinx is here, Cassiopeia is coming from base, and Tom Kench is here, and Graves is dead, Kled is dead, they can't magically teleport behind you. They can't magically just appear from river because you just saw them a few seconds ago. These people don't have Twisted Fate ultimates. I don't know what you expect. Like, there's base movement speed on certain champions, and when you're playing at this level of play, you're able to know exactly how far of a distance can said champion close or something. It's absolutely ludicrous to assume that this sort of a move, okay, into Wraithy and to recall at this brush, the one that's right over here, okay, is bad, because it's just not. And if you wanted to be even a little bit greedier, which I would definitely not recommend unless you're going to have Lsxy stay in mid, and when I say stay in mid, then you would have to do this. So a more greedy rotation that Crown could initiate, and this would only be if he's really gold starved, would be to have Cuvée come up with him, eat Wraiths, and then you would have him go all the way down and eat Wolves. And then you would have Lsxy do Wraiths to mid. That way that no tower damage is going to go down on mid, because Sencooks is not going to try to get a solo kill onto a level 8, might be level 9 soon Lsxy, it's just not going to happen, and then Crown's going to come back to mid. But again, that would be heavily reliant on what his exact gold is, which, using this VOD, I can't tell exactly what gold amount that it is, so there you go. Oh, this talks about how Ryu heavily outfarms West Door. I know what point this is. This is where, well, I mean, it says right here. Frog tells them there's still a big wave. Westward clears the wave and is 3 CS behind. Ah, fuck, there's an advertisement. God damn it. I know what point this is. Alright, so we're going to go back in time a little bit, too. Okay. We're going to go back to, like, 1846. Because it's a build-up of things. So Westdoor, me and Frogman kept pointing out how Westdoor played the lane poorly, which he did. There was no reason for him to play the lane the way that he did, and in fact it ended up giving AHQ a lot of disadvantages throughout the game. So right here, Cassiopeia comes fresh off of a recall. Malzahar's not, in too bad of a spot either. And now you have this situation where, some poke went down onto Yankos, whatever. Okay, so right now, this minion wave is here. There's 4 minions remaining, so we can assume that Ryu goes up to 98. And then there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minions remaining, unless that's glitched. Okay, it's not glitched. There's 5 minions remaining. But we can assume, given the position and the fact that Westor is summonerless and the fact that Ryu has ultimate, that Ryu, something he had been doing this match, was he was moving up very aggressively. So we can assume that Westor maybe only gets 2 or 3 of this entire CS because of how spread apart the minions are. It makes it a little bit awkward for Malefic Visions and the Voidlings to actually get the CS. So building up to this, okay, there's a 11 CS discrepancy right now, and this is what I mean, the Malefic Visions is ticking away, and Ryu doesn't need to hit this right now. I think that's a little bit poor. I think he could have denied one of that CS and Malzahar would get 2, in which case Ryu would be roughly ahead 10 CS, which that is pretty big, given that Ryu's already in a defensive posture with the QSS and the tier build, and this was actually really cute by AHQ, but I don't think that it normally should have been allowed to happen. I hope that we're not dropping any frames. Okay, so right here, again, Ryu is up 12 CS at 11.5 minutes. That is really big. Now, he was up even further earlier on. He missed a CS right there. He should be at 106. See this angle right here? Malzahar, he can get the CS, but it comes at the cost of his shield, and this is something that me and Froggen were both talking about in this game. Alright, see this? This can go down, and Ryu can make sure that this goes down and that Westor can't CS it. So that's 2 more guaranteed CS pile-up advantage. So if he didn't miss that CS just a few seconds ago, he's 106. Now he's at 10. Well, he's going to get this wave. He's going to go to 112, sorry. Malzahar misses 2 CS here, which means that he can pick up 1, 2, and then 5. He can pick up 7. So it's going to be 99 to 112. So again, there's still a CS gap that is amassing, but Ryu plays this a little bit weird like that. That's an error. No matter how you try to spin it, that was an error. There's no reason to move back right there. There is 0 ability for Malzahar to kill Ryu here. QSS is up, Ryu has ultimate. He can easily just go really ham on the trade. He also has cookies, and he knows that I think Malzahar is out of cookies. Well, not cookies, but refillable pots right now. And Westor had shown consistently throughout the duration of this laning phase that he was not really very good at long-distance farming with Malzahar. And so that's why it was a little bit surprising. So he gets away with all these Voidlings and the Malefic Visions, and it just shouldn't happen. Or it can happen, but it shouldn't happen for free, which it did. So this is a little bit frustrating. So anyways, Ryu's up 11 CS. Now this is pretty big, and you see all this posturing that he's doing with Yankos there. That doesn't really make too much sense, but we're gonna, let this play out a little bit, because what was the timestamp this guy gave? 1920. Froggen tells him that there's still a big wave, clears the CS. I mean, I never saw the 3 CS thing. I'm gonna have to turn on the volume.
A bit of Westor's E, like just take them up.
Right, I wanna mute this. Let me just listen. I'm waiting for that part. I'm just waiting for the specific words. This trade that he's doing right here, he could have done this earlier. This is the exact thing that he could have gotten away with earlier. And if you'll notice, that was really, really good by Ryu. It's a solo kill. And if you remember just 40 seconds ago or something, I talked about a similar situation that arose. Now, Westor's not going to die in the former situation, but he is going to take a really big chunk, and that chunk is going to force a recall, which guarantees Cassiopeia another 6 CS advantage. Now, this is weird, but I know that he does say those specific words, but I can't find it. Chat, can you find it? 1920. Oh, 1920 in game. Oh, okay. 1920 in game. Okay, okay. 1920 in game. That should be right here. Alright, hold on. This? It's not this. 15 minutes? Thank you, Samuel Grin. I think I remember you. I can't find it. You were at 19.2? I was at 1925. It's earlier? Alright. Huh. Alright. 1920, Malzahar's in top lane. I don't know where this thing is. 1950? There's no way that it's 1950. 2-4... 6:30 in-game? Okay. That sounds more realistic. Oh, this was it! Thank you, guy in chat. I think this is it. This was a pretty big mistake by Yankos. Now, see, this is what's interesting. Okay? Let's go to right here. Okay? He's up 7 CS at 6 minutes. Let's just think about that for a second. How many minion waves have spawned at 6 minutes? Hold on. One. Wait. 1, 2. Wait. 8, 9, 9? Oh my god, I can't think. 9, and he's missed over 1. So, like, I mean, that's pretty big. Now he comes back, but that shouldn't matter. You should always get all the CS. Now, the other thing that's important to mention about why this is a pretty big spot is because Cassiopeia has more efficient recalls. Cassiopeia needs tier 720 gold. Malzahar needs Lost Chapter 900. And they both obviously ideally want a pink word. So any sort of leads that Cassiopeia gets over Malzahar is going to be super, super, super efficient. But this is a type of advantage that it just shouldn't happen. Also, because they know exactly where everyone is right now, there's no reason not to get these 3 minions, which would have put Ryu at 50. Even if Westor eats this entire wave, it's only going to put him at 46? 46, I guess, because I don't think he can get this this minion right here. Yeah, he couldn't. So it would put him at 46, and Ryu would be at 50, which is still minus 4 CS, which is still pretty big. I mean, you guys can say that it's not big, but honestly, if you want to see an example of how big something like that can be, you can go and watch Victor games, where Victor can be really pressured around the time that he starts getting 800, 900 gold, because that's when he goes into like a starvation mode because he wants to make it to that 1250, because that hex core upgrade really helps his CSing and it helps his lane pressure. And so certain mid laners, one of the advantages that they have on Victor right now is that generally their recalls are anywhere from 350, about 350 to 500 gold less than Victor, the most extreme one being Cassio, or just AP mids that want to go Negatron. And that's something that's really important, because Victor does not want to have to go back and recall and get double Doran's rings. It's just not something that you want to happen. So and if you notice, it wasn't that Froggen just necessarily claimed that he disagreed with the minion wave thing. Now I disagree with Froggen that he doesn't think that 4CS is big, because it is big. So there you go. There's a disagreement right there. I think that 4CS at 6 minutes is really big. He does also add on that there was the missed base timing, which I don't recall if I touched on it. So that is a fact. There was a missed base timing, and if the missed base timing was handled more properly, and I think that it was more so skewed by Jankos' play on Westside River, then what ends up happening is Ryu actually is probably just ahead of flat 8 CS, and he's going to have lane superiority. So Jankos did set Ryu behind, but nonetheless Ryu is still pretty far ahead because of the dynamic of the matchup. So, I mean, okay. Let's see. 3 CS behind is gigantic. At 6 minutes. I agree, 3 CS behind at 10 minutes, not the end of the world. 3 CS behind at 6 minutes is pretty problematic. So, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know what to say. And it's not even 3, it's 4, which is pretty bad. Anyways. Let's see here. And also, me and Froggen both agreed that Westor, Ryu did outfarm Westor. He even solo killed Westor. And he had that opportunity that we reviewed unintentionally, because we couldn't find the timestamp, where he had another opening to basically force Westor to recall. And that would have been, really good, but Ryu, dropped that opportunity. Okay. Let's talk about how Bjergsen is giving respect to Crown when taking cleanse. Oh, this one's cute. Because this is a lack of knowledge on mid lane. Or it's not a lack of knowledge. It can be a lack of knowledge, but it can be preference, right? So I make the comment that Bjergsen gives the respect over to Crown And the reason that I say this is primarily because if you look at the matchup, okay, you have Lee Sin Syndra versus Elise Varus. Now, Syndra is a monster in this lane. Varus is pretty hurt by it. I think someone even asked during the cast, what about Ezreal or Corki mid? And that's honestly even more worse, because at least Varus has the ability to farm from long range during the laning phase. And, Ezreal, I guess he has that with his Q. Corki, not so much. Corki, it gets a little bit more awkward. Syndra can easily take Ghost here if she wants to, because that would be superior team fighting. And if the enemy mid laner here does not have a snare, or they do not have CC or anything like that, I'm pretty sure with a proactive jungler like Lee Sin, you just take Ghost. We saw Faker, dodging Qs from Lee Sin earlier in the SK Telecom versus Cloud9 matchup. Now obviously it's not a snare, right? But the Q is still a projectile that when it lands, generally when Lee Sin hits you early, he hits like a truck. So it's still pretty problematic. Now, it's not exactly the same setup. I understand that. Elise is going to be a little bit more impactful with Cocoon. But if you look at Korean mid laners, when they go up against an Elise, they don't just take a cleanse every single time. This is a 2v2 component. Okay, you don't just blindly take cleanse on Syndra, which, that was also one of the things from yesterday, was I think Crown, if he's playing against, and you can even look this up in solo queue, if he's playing against Cassiopeia's, he'll also take cleanse sometimes. In some matchups, and cleanse is something that you do when you give respect not only to the enemy jungler, whoever they are, but also to the enemy mid. It is not just a one-man thing. You do not just auto-take cleanse because there's an Elise in the game. That is the most ridiculous comment that you could ever make. Is Elise really powerful, and is the Cocoon really threatening? Absolutely. You are in a bully matchup with Lee Sin on your side, okay? Which means that even if Elise does show up, okay, Lee Sin's W into an offensive Q with Syndra's QE, etc., it gets really problematic. So if you look at this from TSM's perspective, where's Epic Pen? Hold on, I don't know where I have it running. Okay, let me just go into the game really quick. Oh man, I just need a clear shot of mid lane. Alright, okay. Now, what angles can Elise approach from? Okay, depending on if Bjergsen crosses this threshold, there is the possibility for this, right? This is a little bit awkward, because even from this angle, okay, Bjergsen, unless Crown is level 6, Bjergsen is able to just be like, bye-bye, right? Because he has QE. On top of that, he has W slow. So unless they time it against Bjergsen using E and being on cooldown, it's still a pretty difficult gank. Okay, now if Bjergsen is playing really far up, if he's like at this line or something, or he's in between this region, okay, and then Ambition comes up, this can get a little bit problematic, because they do have the ability to catch Bjergsen, depending on where he's standing in these lines. They can actually catch him down here. But even this is not like, I guess if Bjergsen's like anywhere here, he can still get away. And again, this is a really bad matchup for Varus. Syndra's just a lane bully. She's god tier. I said that in the champ select. I said that if Bjergsen, Crown, Faker, or probably Jensen have Syndra, she's god tier. There's no other mid laner that is as good as her in the current meta. And that's just because when she gets the ball rolling, and she gets it rolling real quick, and she's extremely hard to recover from, in terms of, like, if you give up a kill to her, you give up an assist to her, it becomes extremely difficult to recover the laning phase unless you're already in a favorable matchup, which honestly, at this point in time, there's not so many favorable matchups against Syndra that are fitting inside of the competitive meta. So that's why Syndra is so oppressive right now. So the other thing that we can look at is, let's say that Elise does come in here, okay, and she tries to go onto Bjergsen, they run like this, and then Varus, let's say the minion wave is like this, and then Varus steps, here, where there's a clear-cut opening. If Syndra, Bjergsen walks to here, and then Ambition is here or something, and he tries to go for a Cocoon or something, and Syndra responds with a QE onto Crown, yes, he has the cleanse. If Lee Sin responds with W, okay, and then Q onto Crown, it suddenly becomes, all right, Ambition having to direct all attention to protecting Crown. Yes, he will get the cleanse off, okay, on the Syndra stun. If the resonating, or what is it, Jesus, I don't know Lee Sin's Q's name. If the Lee Sin Q hits, all of a sudden Ambition's attention has to go to defending Varus. That's just how all match ganks and counter ganks go. Okay, so that's pretty problematic. The other thing is, because of how powerful Syndra is at basically oppressing Varus in the laning phase, Lee Sin has a lot more available gank routes than an Elise. Also, I think Lsxyzcoaching even pointed out that, there's other summoners available to Varus, but he can't pick it here because he's giving credit to Bjergsen to land that stun, because that stun is game-shattering. Because, again, we talk about Syndra gets the lead, and you can't really recover. We saw Faker do it to Jensen, and I'm sure maybe a lot of people flame Jensen. Honestly, it's not Jensen's fault at a certain point. I mean, it doesn't take much effort to QWER with just 4 orbs and kill the opposing mid laner at level 9. Like, that doesn't take a lot of effort. You need, like, Lost Chapter, Sork Pen Boots, Amplifying Tome, and Syndra's lethal range on, like, 90% of mids is 800 HP. That sounds really fair. So, I mean, I want someone to name me a mid laner that has a lethal range like that, because guess what? You can't. Or maybe you can say Annie or something, right, with, like, Tibbers. Well, Annie doesn't get to stun you from, so far of a distance away from you, and then still get in range to then finish up her combo. Annie is obviously much shorter range than Syndra in that regard, if she's summonerless. So that's one of the things about Syndra. Okay, and this 2v2 dynamic. Now, me and Lsxyzcoaching were talking about how we thought that, and I even talked about this with Monty after. I want to talk about the pick and ban as well, but Ambition, given that he had 3 losing lanes, Ambition's playstyle early on was, I think, a little bit aggressive, and we saw that he missed the Cocoon over at Gromp, and that was a game-changing Cocoon to have missed, because that was really big for TSM, and it was an excellent roam follow-up by Bjergsen. And that just got the ball rolling. It set Ambition really far behind, and Doublelift was just fucking riding Ruler in the bottom lane, which all credit goes to him for that, because he just fucking dismantled him in terms of CS. So TSM's bottom lane did phenomenal work, just, as a solo this game, so that was really good. But anyways, there's other components that go into it. If this is not, again, going back to the original comment, if this is not a mid laner with a stun or a snare or something, this is Victor, he's not taking cleanse. Okay, Varus at level 6, he has that snare. That snare is obnoxious. So if you get hit by the snare, that means that Elise can 100% follow up with the Cocoon. Or if you get hit by the Cocoon, it means that then you get followed up by the snare by Varus. Syndra, if she does, one of the weaknesses of Syndra is her recovery game does tend to be weak. Now, we just talked about how, she is so oppressive in lane, and her ability to deny a recovery is super powerful. Well, likewise, Syndra's recovery is actually pretty poor, until she can, get the ball rolling, get some items under her belt, and then enter into the team fighting phase. But if we're just looking at it from a lane perspective, if she falls behind an opposing laner and they're able to get some sort of MR, or they're able to hit a recipe item sooner than her, it becomes very difficult, because now the trades that she would like to take to soften them up for lethal are going to be negated by their ability to reciprocate damage to her. And because if she's summonerless, she is one of the most vulnerable mid laners in the game, depending on who the enemy jungler is and who the enemy mid is. She does have obviously the QE, but depending on, again, how she's playing lane, how her opposing mid laner, there's so many variables that you have to consider, so you can't talk about it in such a simple manner. Okay. Telling him that he takes cleanser. I mean, every high elo mid knows taking cleanse. Wait, what? Lsxyzcoaching shuts him down, telling him that he takes cleanse versus... Wait, what? Did you just say what I said? Lsxyzcoaching shuts him down, telling him that he takes cleanse versus Elise. But that's not true. That's just not true. It's just that's just not true. I mean, if that's gonna be the case, then you just look up every single Elise game that has ever been. How do I do this? Elise games play. I don't even know. Game info. Is this it? No. Fuck. There's a website with it. Oh fuck. What is it? Is this it? Please tell me this is it. No, this isn't. Oh wait. No, where is it? Where can someone in chat link me? Syndra is really broken. I'll talk about the draft in a second. I actually got to talk about the draft with Monty, and it was a pretty interesting discussion because I tweeted at Deficio one of the things that I thought might be the case. Champion.gg. No, this isn't it. This isn't competitive. No, this isn't it. This isn't it. Where is it? Game of Legends? No, this isn't it either. Is it? Wait. Hold on, maybe the internet just sucks. This could be it. Wait. Does the internet suck and it's just not loading? There's some page where it just shows Elise, and it shows all of her stats and stuff, and like who she was against. Gamepedia? Is this it? Oh, here we go. What is this? SB? Scoreboard. Alright, let's take a look. I'm just gonna click 5. Alright. Fuck did he pick? Right. Oh my god, please, no, stop! Fucking, this hotel is literally AIDS. No. What? No. Ah, fuck. Cloud9 versus SK Telecom. Okay. Bengi. Oh, hold on. Wait a second. Bengi, Elise. I don't think that's a cleanse on Jensen. And Syndra has a snare too. And I do think that me and Lsxyzcoaching both said that Jensen should have had cleanse. Now, if it was Rek'Sai, if it's Graves, if it's Kindred, if it's Lee Sin, if it, like there's a lot of other champions. It doesn't need to be cleanse. It doesn't need to be. It's optional. Depending on how you want to play the laning phase out. Now, Cassiopeia versus Syndra is more of a skill-based matchup than Syndra versus Varus. I mean, like, okay, so that's that example. Hold on, what else do we got here? Yankos versus, what the fuck is that? Unicorns of Love? Or AHQ eSport? Oh, okay. Alright, so there was Elise, Cassio. I don't think that's I don't think that's a cleanse. I don't believe that is a cleanse. So I mean, I'm not quite sure what that is. Alright, what do we got here? G2. Oh no, we got Rocks. Wait, no. Rocks versus Albus Nox Luna. Okay, well, this was like fucking Harry Potter was like rising from the grave. Like fucking Dumbledore actually turned into Harry Potter. That's an Elise. And that's a Vladimir. I don't see a Cocoon. You could be like, well, obviously he has Pool. Well, okay. I mean, I guess that's a pretty fair argument, to be honest. But like, what is the baseless comment of like Elise demands Elise Demento, G2 versus CLG. Alright, Trick, Elise, Syndra, Elise Syndra. Vladimir, he has the pool again. Goddamn, a bad example. Alright, hold on. Let's get this shit. What the fuck is this? Winternational wildcard. Oh, man. Alright, what is this? Max Lore, Elise, Talia. That's pretty brutal. What do you got? Karma. I don't believe that's a cleanse. And I don't believe that Karma is very terrible or tanky when she gets hit with a cocoon. So, I mean, I guess that's why they lost. Because Karma didn't have cleanse. Because, you know, Elise, you have to take cleanse, of course. Without a doubt, Twitch chat, you need cleanse. By the way, if there's an Elise, and if you don't, anyone can shut you down if you disagree with not taking cleanse, simply because there's an Elise. Oh, fuck. Alright, what are we doing here? Revolta. Let me just click this. What the fuck was this? I don't even know what one I clicked. This is International Wildcard. Oh, no, it wasn't. That was actually Move. Wait, what? What the hell is this? Albus Nox. Is there an Elise? Elise? Oh, fuck. Let me see it. Oh, I don't believe that that's a cleanse, and that is a Varus. And that is an Elise Cassio. Well, to be honest there, though, I think you probably should have had... Well, maybe not cleanse. You can go heal. I don't think that Ghost is actually going to be necessary in that situation. What's this? LCS regional qualifiers. Alright. What? Oh, fuck. Unicorns Love versus Giants Gaming. Where's Elise? Give me it. Max Lore. Elise. Oh, wait, did we look at this? Yeah, we did. Did they pick it again? Let me see it. Let me see that delicious Elise. Let me see it twice. Fucking... Elise? I don't think that's cleanse, Nivea. Didn't you get the memo? Hello, you need cleanse versus a Nivea or versus Elise. Hello? No. Oh man. You need cleanse versus multi-snare or multi-stun. Like, because it just becomes obnoxious, especially if you're on a vulnerable laner. That's why Karma takes it a lot in some matchups, because she's very vulnerable. I'm not here to bash on this guy, though. I don't know. The problem here is this guy strikes me as the type of person that, like, believes in the Bible. Like, I don't know. He instantly just assumes that whoever the pro player is, anything that they say is absolutely fucking gospel. And it's, like, we can have disagreements. Like, disagreements do exist. And then, you know, then there needs to be a group opinion. And we can't technically have a group opinion. There's just 3 of us on the cast. I would argue for what I argued with. He would argue for what he argued with. I think at the end of the day, he and I both don't really give a shit over that point as much as this guy does. But historically, there has been trends that would advocate for what I said. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think that it is the respect on Crown. Because if he doesn't respect Crown, then he can easily either just go Ignite and pray that Crown doesn't take heal, because then, you know, he gets a monstrous laning phase, or he just takes Ghost, which is really, really standard, because he's already such a lane bully, and he doesn't need that Ignite. The Ignite, honestly, would just be a cherry on top. I don't think that there would be any reason to actually have the Ignite. PLX, the Syndra Chinese, like, 17-year-old god or something, actually sometimes takes heal and barrier in very lane bully matchups. So there is that, but I haven't really looked at that enough to make too many comments on it, but I think that it is important to bring up. Couldn't find all the timestamps where Alex explained it in LS. Oh, wait. Wait, what? What is this? Hold on. Fuck, we got an advertisement. What is this? So Alex is just saying that there is ways for TSM to throw. One of the things that was going through my head when I was watching this game is Samsung Galaxy, I think at 2 points during the LCK, were in similar situations where they almost came back. Even a situation that was actually worse than this one, and they almost came back. And that's a testament to their late game team fighting ability. I'm gonna go over the draft in a second. My whole issue is number one, Doublelift played phenomenal. Number two, Bjergsen played like a fucking monster. I've never said he was bad. I just said that Crown had better mechanics. That does not mean that Crown is overall a better mid laner in every single aspect than Bjergsen. And I also think that Bjergsen is one of the most talented League of Legends players to ever touch the game. So that is all facts that I did say. I know that there was a comment about the solo kill, by the way, but I mean I can go find that. Nonetheless, this was not just a one. Well, there was a lot of influence by Bjergsen, but I think that Svenskeren does deserve a lot of credit, and I also think that Doublelift was a fucking monster in bottom lane. I mean, he also, I think, he even went Cull. Like as if the pain wasn't enough for Samsung Galaxy. I think he went Cull and sold it, which that's just fucking beautiful, because generally Ezreal will be the one that gets Cull. Yeah, he has the Cull right here. So this is the cheese, where people think that pros can't get solo killed sometimes. I mean, now this was interesting. Now, some people want to say that this thing. Hold on, I'm gonna rewind for a little bit. Oh, fuck. I'm so sorry, guys. The internet sucks. Alright. Bjergsen hits a max range stun. Beautiful. Absolutely fucking beautiful. See Bjergsen, level 4. Now Bjergsen's level 6. This is where he goes for the cheese. Crown just got 6, by the way. Crown just got 6. So Bjergsen didn't need any of these minions to set up for his cheese play. See that little bit of XP right there? So this is really, really beautiful, actually, by Bjergsen. This is really cute. And what I think is happening here is Lsxyzcoaching even pointed it out, is Crown could have actually flashed one of the autos, or 2 of the autos, and he could have lived. I also think the other thing that Crown was waiting... He did cleanse the ult late, or the stun late. I completely agree. That was bad by him. That was fucking terrible. But I think that Crown wasn't really paying attention to like what was like you see this, it almost looked like he was caught completely off guard and like did not know what was happening, because this is really nice by Bjergsen, because he has the ball already on W, and this really amplifies his ultimate's damage. He's gonna get the extra ball, so this happens. One auto, ult, second auto. He could have flashed. And you can see his face. I just don't think he realized like what was happening, and it was also Doran Syndra. So I mean, it's a nice solo kill, sure. But like you can't. This is not the be all end all of anything. If I've been solo killed Faker twice, solo kills happen. I never said Bjergsen was a bad player. Also, this is a heavy Syndra favored matchup. Heavy, heavy, heavy Syndra favored matchup. And Bjergsen was able to get a lead in experience and also in gold just via that assist. And that assist is not just an assist, it's also Crown having to be in mid lane by himself for the foreseeable future because of how put into the ground Ambition is. And that's something that goes into the lane psychology of like how you're gonna play the lane. Because if you know that you can just call your jungler over any time, it's very different. But when you know that TSM gets a lead like that, you have to acknowledge that they're probably gonna pink you up, and they're probably also going to get wards at least in river, which makes it very unlikely that you're going to get jungler assistance. So there's a lot of added pressure that comes from that early game scenario where TSM was able to accumulate a pretty big lead. So there's that. Alex explained how he would take all the outer turrets, then wait to minute 26 to get some more health and take Baron, and then take it for free with 0 chance of losing it. Alex goes on and blames TSM for teleport rotations in macro game when there is literally just one outer turret left. TSM literally do what Alex said and close out the game with 0 risk of losing it. See, this is a little bit hard to break down, or it's not hard to break down, but it's a little bit long-winded. The thing for me is if you give SK Telecom or the Tigers a 6k or 8k gold lead when TSM had it, and you gave them the exact same team comp against Samsung Galaxy, they would close out the game 10 to 15 minutes faster than TSM did. Okay, does that mean that what TSM did was necessarily bad if you really want to use the argument that you just want to reduce all chance of losing the game? I guess no. But the problem is that they're on a ticking time bomb, where eventually Varus and Ezreal can just keep shoving in the wave. Or they can keep shoving back the wave, and then, you know, Samsung Galaxy gets to their turtle mode and they reach the 45-50 minute mark, and then it becomes a very real possibility that you could throw a fight. The other thing is they had double Inferno Drake on Syndra Jhin. That is such disgusting amplification to your damage that you don't get in every single game. Can you imagine double Cloud Drake? Or, you know, double Water Drake? Well, double Water Drake, I guess, could have been okay. But, you know, can you imagine, like, mix-ups? Like Water Cloud, or, like, you know, Cloud Mountain Cloud, or Cloud Mountain Water? There's a lot of variations of dragons that could have spawned that could have been pretty bad. My issue is, and I will, you know, go over the VOD of the game, is that TSM plays very well early on with some very minor errors, but no team plays perfect. Okay, it's not possible to play perfect. But when I'm analyzing or breaking down a game, or I'm looking at it and trying to reverse engineer, you know, what is the best possible outcome, because I like to view League in a very chess-like manner. I like to see the map, see the champions, know, okay, what is everything capable of right now, and what is logical based on the information that is being received by everyone. And then I like to try to find the best possible answer through that, and then go through it and play devil's advocate over and over until either counter arguments can be made for said rotation, or until we come to a conclusion that there is multiple good rotations that are, you know, influenced by other factors, such as, you know, I don't want to say like game psychology, but I kind of do. You know, high MMR player, even low MMR players, I guess you can get a sense. You know, you wait in a brush because you're like, I know this guy will come this way. You know, like the extra feeling that you get just based on the habits that you've experienced inside of that game, and that's very, very difficult to see just with an eye. You really have to be in the game, I think, to really experience that. Although I guess if it's constant enough, then you can end up finding patterns and stuff. But so anyways, TSM's early game was really good, and the speed at which they blitzed down towers was also good. My issue was that they then just do nothing for 15 minutes, despite tons of ways to do things to Samsung Galaxy, and they chose not to. That's where I attack the macro thing. Now, if you saw on Twitter, okay, so I go over to my Twitter. Alright. Oh. Fuck. Alright. So if we go over to my Twitter, this was immediately you know, following the game. TSM played so well pre-15. Bjergsen was a monster. Seeing TSM early is nice if they can fix their mid-late game macro. IMO a very glaring weakness, which it is, because they have a lot of glaring strengths, but the thing that stands out, alright, I forgot the common saying, stands out, I don't even know, Jesus. Oh man, my brain's just not functioning right now. But it's like a black spot on a fucking sheep or something. Okay, there you go. There, you guys got it. Okay, it's the black spot on the sheep is their macro, and it has always been their macro. Has their macro improved since last year? Absolutely. But they're also a different team. But nonetheless, their macro has improved. Okay, and fucking credit is, deserved for that. Okay, sure. But again, let us ask ourselves, give Rox Tigers or SK Telecom or RNG that 6 or 8k gold advantage and give them the double Inferno Drake, give them the Mountain Drake. How much faster do they end the game with correct plays that are still safe relative to proper map movements? And the answer is obvious, that they would have ended it faster. I think that it's absurd to say that they wouldn't have ended it faster. Now, I'm all for playing safe. I am one of the biggest advocates of methodical play. If you watched, my Samsung Galaxy versus Splice, I even mentioned how Samsung could have gone for the end game, but I mentioned how Samsung is notorious for very slow methodical play, and that they elected to take another inhibitor and stuff. And when I coached SHC, Gravity, everything, I was the biggest advocate against Nexus turret pushing if it was going to be a 70-30 or if it was going to be an 80-20. I always wanted that 90-10 or like that 95-5. Fucking aces can lose to ace king. Like it can happen. And when you're in a tournament like this, you don't want to have that happen. And so now some people listening to me say this, they're like, well, LS, isn't that then what TSM was doing? They were posturing until they could get that percentage as high as possible. No, I don't think that's what they were doing. I think against another team composition, if Samsung Galaxy had a different team comp, okay, we can make that argument. Samsung Galaxy had a team comp that was intended to go that distance. It was intended to go 45, 50 minutes. And so when we reach that point, that's when it becomes problematic, where, yeah, you can have 2 Barons on them. You can have 7 towers. One botch team fight, and the game will just turn on its head, because that botch team fight, 2 members living, if you only have 1 inhibitor down, they can easily just ride up a minion wave and capture 2 towers, 3 towers, and then come back gold and other stuff. So I'm also going to talk about the draft after this summary of everything, and whatever. So anyways, Alex said in close out the game was 0 risk, but it's not 0 risk, and we saw that it wasn't entirely 0 risk. There's other ways. I really do want to do this VOD review. I really, really want to go over this VOD review, because I think TSM can be so much better. I'm not saying that in a negative way either. I'm saying it in like an exciting way. I haven't seen a foreigner compete with Koreans since fucking StarCraft 1, okay? It's been a long time coming. I was excited for Forgiven to come to Korea, because I thought that was going to be a real possibility. Fucking people like to think that I'm like anti-Western. No. I'm so excited for the day that Western players actually rise up to Koreans, but don't think for a second that I won't hold everyone to the highest standard. And if you think I don't criticize Koreans, then that's just not true, because I casted an entire season of LCK, and there was even a thread on Reddit about me flaming SK Telecom for making poor choices. So they're like, I don't know where this stereotype comes from that I just make things up or say things to say things about Western players, because it's just not true. I just say what I'm seeing, and I would, be willing to do what I'm doing right now, which is going through everything. So you see these type of movements, and you look at TSM's vision, and it's pretty bad. They have double Inferno, and they have double Mountain. I don't even want to know what kind of AP amplification it's giving to Syndra right now. What does she have, 427? She might be getting a needlessly large rod or something out of this. Like, that's disgusting, if you think about that. I don't even know what Jin has right now. Kennen, another AP amplification. He's going glass cannon. Haunter's going glass cannon. And see, this is the problem, is they're down 11k gold, okay? But TSM has 10 kills, and Samsung Galaxy's last kill was like, what, 15 minutes ago or some shit? Okay, if TSM goes 4 for 4 in a team fight, do you know how much shutdown gold is inside of the kills onto TSM? This is going to instantly turn into 6k gold deficit, 7k gold deficit. And Samsung Galaxy, if they get a really good team fight, if they get really nice positioning, and we can't say no, that'll never happen, because it does happen, because people are human, and people do make mistakes, including Koreans, which I'm going to fucking point out how terrible Crown and Samsung Galaxy was. Hold on 1 second. Let me just straighten them up real quick. Where was it? Is it right here? No, that's not it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I think it's the one that leads up to the mid-tier 1 tower. Because this was just obnoxious, but it also speaks volumes to TSM not maximizing their their gains that they could have secured off of what ended up happening. Okay, so I think it's a little bit back here. It's like 40-36 or something. TSM's on the Baron. Oh fuck, where the hell is it? It's when they get the mid lane. Okay, it might be right now. Alright, so see this? TSM superior vision to Samsung Galaxy. Now, throughout this game, though, I do think that their vision was quite bad. Now, look at how fast this is getting shredded, okay? Let's just rewind really quick. Because remember, they have a Mountain Drake and they have a double Inferno. Alright, so let's just watch how fast this Baron goes down. Alright. 27:57. In 3 seconds, they have dealt almost about, what? Fuck, game timer. Okay, in 4 seconds, they dealt... Fuck, my life, kill me, please. Why doesn't it show Baron's HP? Alright. You see this? Dealing about 1,000 per 2 seconds, and that's not with all the members. So if all the members were there, they'd probably deal about 1,700 per 2 seconds or something, and then you factor in this much. So, anyways, okay, here's the play. So this nitty-gritty stuff aside, whatever. All right, let's talk about this. Bjergsen had some really nice positioning, by the way. All right, Hanser has teleport. Like, why? 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 You had ace. TSM had ace. See that ward up in golems? See how Hanser has flash? Where's Ezreal going? He ain't going nowhere. Like, maybe he runs, right? If he runs from that, if Ezreal runs, Crown dies, Cuvee dies, Ambition dies, Ezreal's forced out by Kennen, because Cuvee, Ambition, etc., the rest of the crew, they're never getting out, because Kennen's just gonna go like this. If they try to run. Now that's assuming that Ruler reacts quick enough, because he doesn't have flash and he doesn't have heal. That's assuming that Ruler reacts quick enough, and all of these guys are just gonna go down. There's absolutely no way. So, the other thing is Alistar, Wraith, yeah, he's going to probably just be completely out of the fight. So it's going to be Ezreal and Alistar left remaining, and you have 5 members of TSM. Okay? So I feel like that's a missed opportunity. And these type of missed opportunities, they matter because games get decided. You see this? Why do you allocate a flash ultimate just to Cuvee? Okay? Cuvee was dead anyway. Like, if he teleported in behind. Now, the other thing is, if he does end up teleporting in behind, and Ezreal's forced out, Alistar's flashed out, as we were saying, then easily, you can have Kennen just run to mid lane by himself, and then you can 3-man Baron, because you have double Inferno Drake, and you have a Mountain Drake. So you 3-man Baron, Kennen goes mid, one person goes top lane, starts absorbing the minions, okay, so you're gonna initiate this, 1-3-1, Okay, and then what's going to happen is Baron's going to pop, the death timers are still going to be up on these players, and then this minion wave is going to probably be here, Baron enhancement, by the time this would go down, this minion wave would be up further, and then you tap it with Baron. And Kennen has this tower under pressure, which means that Ezreal is going to be standing somewhere around here in this vicinity, and Wraith's going to be there, but they can't kill Kennen. There's no way to kill Kennen. Okay, also Elise would be dead, 100%. So Ambition would never make it out. And it's an entirely different story. So if you go up to top, like if you have Bjergsen go up to top, or yeah, Bjergsen, I guess you don't really want to remove Jhin from Baron Pit. So you have Bjergsen go up to top and you get that lane shoving. Then you unite with him up in top lane while Kennen has them, occupied in mid lane. And as for, because you have that Baron enhanced recall, these people are not looking to fight. They're not in a position to fight. Ezreal and Alistar cannot magically teleport across the map to, meet 4 players, even if Cuvée wanted to go for some teleport play. Because they're just not able to get it. They're going to be too out of position, and Elise is still going to be dead. So even if Cuvée starts teleporting, Elise is on Fountain, Ezreal and Wraith may as well be on Fountain, and then Crown's going to be on Fountain, so there's nothing that can happen. And they can try to look to take the tower. I don't remember exactly what the HP is at this time, but no matter what, this lane would be dark. Then you back up as TSM, and you recall. Okay, now depending on what Kennen needs, because as we can see, Kennen has a pretty nice itemization set up right now. Depending on what Kennen needs, he has one of 2 choices. He can either go, he can either go like this immediately down here, and they can put 4 people up here, and then they can initiate a 0-4-1. So you can do a 0-4-1, and then you have Kennen shove this up, and then you have the 4 people shove this up, and then once Kennen gets this wave to right here, then you make rotations accordingly. And eventually what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that whatever wave ends up being up here, because again, this is a little bit difficult to follow, I guess, because you have to envision, where are the minions, what is going on right now, where are the champions standing on side of, on the map. You want to make sure that with your Baron buff, you had tapped 1 wave. But that's not even going to be the biggest of concerns, because TSM also has the level advantage, which I'm going to, talk about that in the draft in a second. So what's going to happen is you're going to have 4 people here sieging, okay, and you have Kennen over here. Okay, so it's a very standard 0-4-1. All right, next dragon is coming up soon. It's a Mountain Drake. You have the Baron buff, you have extra stats, etc. Now, I also talked about QSS on Syndra, okay? I think this guy even makes that comment about the QSS. LS wants Bjergsen to buy a QSS on Syndra versus Varus R, Elise E, and Alistar Q, and Bjergsen has got Cleanse on Syndra already. Alex expressed him that it is a bad buy. No, it is not. There is videos of Apto translated where, he talks about... let's just say one thing right now. Syndra has, I think, 80 or like 90 extra AP that she shouldn't have because 2 Inferno Drake. Okay, you already have you have more than a needlessly large rod in terms of AP stats. Okay, so if you RNG'd Cloud Drake or Mountain Drake, you wouldn't have that AP, which means that if you want to go a defensive item, because what is the only way that Samsung Galaxy can come back in this game right now? Okay, if you look at it from Samsung Galaxy's perspective, they're like, okay, we need either a Varus ultimate, or we need an Alistar knockup, or we need an Elise cocoon. And if, they cleanse 1, there's multiple others that are coming, Why not just remove that entirely? Remove the ability for the enemy team to have any sort of saving grace or any opportunity. And this is something I've talked about a ton in the past, where you build defensive items because it removes the opportunity for the enemy team to pick you off or punish a temporary misposition, or enable yourself to, get caught out, sometimes for reasons that are beyond your control. Maybe the enemy team just played really well with their vision control and wiping out certain stuff, and they get a pick on you. So, he claims that Lsxyzcoaching corrects me, it's a bad buy, since the only thing he can, whatever. It's not a bad buy. It's gonna come down to, again, this one is gonna be an opinion, right? But I don't believe that this is an opinion that is a theory opinion. I believe this is an opinion that is able to be sandboxed. And I like to speak in things that are able to be sandboxed. So if we take the same 5 players TSM, same 5 players Samsung Galaxy, and we run the same scenario 1,000 times over, you get QSS versus needlessly large rod. What is going to be the bigger difference? And I'm 100% confident, and I would bet money on it, that the QSS would provide way more utility and ultimately provides more damage because it just gives you the ability to reposition and get back to doing whatever you want to do. Whereas the needlessly large rod, yes, it's going to have the ramp from the Inferno Drakes, but it's not nearly as valuable. Because sometimes, maybe you guys, let me try to find a way to like relate to using like solo queue or something. Imagine, you're facing a Graves or an Elise, or I don't know, some Aurelia, okay, or Jax, and they're really, really, really tanky, and you're just thinking to yourself, okay, well, if we could just pick him off, maybe we can win the team fight. Or, maybe if Jax messes up, he leaps forward, or Aurelia blade surges forward, etc., maybe we can just delete her, or, something like that. And then they show up with a Guardian Angel. Your heart sort of sinks a little bit, because that Guardian Angel is not just the revive. It is to dissuade you from attempting to do what you would otherwise do in 99% of situations, because it's such an obnoxious cooldown. Like, the res animation. It's so obnoxious, and it's so time consuming to have to basically wait around, because if you're making a pick like that, I mean, unless they're like Ruler from fucking LCK, like randomly wandering, or like season 4 or 5 double lift, etc., they're not completely absent from their team. Generally, their team is, kind of close by, and we've seen this in pro games as well, where someone gets caught out, quote unquote, but they have GA, and by the time they res, their team's there for them, and they turn a team fight. Guardian Angel is a very powerful item. QSS, likewise. Bjergsen did not need that extra AP. I would argue with anyone, and I know that there are world, elite mid laners that also do put, they put value on the QSS. I mean, we saw Ryu versus Westor go QSS first item, and yeah, you can say, okay, it's a Malzahar, but it's not just a Malzahar. It's what it does. It's the obstruction to the team fights. It's what it grants inside of the team fights. It's infinitely more valuable than the minuscule amount of AP. Because at this point in the game, Syndra is already overkilling. She doesn't need that extra bit of AP. So while it was a disagreement on stream and we didn't go into it, it's because there's no point to go into that. There is a point, but we're not going to eat up the stream when so much other stuff is going on, over that type of a conversation. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Why have any caster there? Why not just, have a pro there or anything, right? Like, according to this guy's logic. But anyways, nonetheless, I never said that TSM was bad. Like, overall, right? I said their macro is bad. If you ever listen to me on Summoning Insight, or you listen to me do VOD reviews of them, or my critique of them after having watched them, they have, in my opinion, 3 S-class players. They have Svenskeren, Bjergsen, and Doublelift. Okay, Hauntzer is good. Is Hauntzer special or outstanding? In my opinion, no. Okay, and so people pull out of context the comment that I made on Summoning Insight about Hauntzer, or I used him as an example. Ruler. Does anyone know that Ruler has only played competitively for 4 months? Anyone know that? Now, obviously, you might be like, well, Ruler's no Hauntzer, but you can't really compare them so simplistically, right? But Ruler's only played competitively for 4 months. Okay. There have been numerous other pro players that have, they've had short stints of competitive play. It is absolutely ludicrous to assume that a certain player's level is incapable of being reached when they're not an S-tier caliber player. Would I ever make a comment that you could train a random quote-unquote solo queue shitter to get to Bjergsen's level? Absolutely not. Bjergsen is, that's a level that takes a lot more to get to. Can you train someone to get to Doublelift's level? Absolutely not. It's a different level of gameplay. Is Hauntzer good? Sure. But is he standoutish? Is he just this super world breaker top laner? No, he's not. Like, And that's fine. You know, that's not what he needs to be. He doesn't need to be that. You know? Like, fuck. Like, whatever. Not every team has S tier across all the roles. I mean, look at SK Telecom. They have a fucking D tier in jungle. Like, you know, you just want to be honest for a second here. So I mean, that's that. So these are all the oh god. Hold on, there's more. There is no good opportunity for Victor to use E on the Wraiths instead of using it on the wave to push it in. In the first clip, it is very unsafe option to walk up to the Wraith since Kled was moving towards mid, but they don't know that Kled is moving towards mid, so you can't make analytical comments on information that the player is not aware of. So anyways, we're gonna take a look at the first clip again, because the guy has edited his post to say that there is no real good opportunity for Victor to get the small Wraiths. Now, Cassiopeia has just went down. Victor E is off cooldown. Now, I do believe that this could easily be this, which could also easily be E. I mean, some people may think this is a penis, but if your penis looks like that, you might have other problems, okay? The doctor cut a little too much off. You might want to get yourself checked out, all right? And I mean, you may be Lance Armstrong, all right, down here, but that, again, neither here nor there. So if we actually like look at the replay, you can just see that's not actually true, all right? This guy just has like some vendetta against me. I have absolutely no idea. So he had that opportunity, and he has it again right here. He could easily walk up and, again, E the Wraiths. And then if he E's the Wraiths right there, you can already see that Wraith is aware of what's going on, and they have bottom lane tied up. You can see this on the minimap, okay? This is all information that is available to Samsung Galaxy. They know where Trashy is. They don't necessarily know where Wonder is, but I already went over this. There is one of three things that Wonder can do. Recall, mid, ult. Top, river, ult. Teleport, if they had a ward that Samsung was not aware of, which they don't, but it is something that has to be entertained. Teleport, ult. Okay, so they have three options. They know that Tahm Kench can't ulti in, and Sencooks is dead. In addition to this, Crown has flash. Okay, Crown has flash. Crown has Q movement speed too. So it's not just flash, it's Q movement speed. Sorry, I'm pretty fucking sick. I need to go. I'm gonna have to take an Uber to a clinic pretty soon here because my lungs are pretty bad right now and I don't know what's going on. So okay, right here, walk up, E the wave, and then kite southeast into the lane again, and then you just, you click the laser here and you aim up. Like that's it, click, click. All right, if you use smart class, click, release, or whatever. Okay, get the wave. Because you already have Death Ray. That pocket's going to enable Nami to protect you. So it doesn't really matter. Now, even if he thought that I meant to kill the big Wraith, also you have Rek'Sai right here, by the way. Even if he thought that I meant to kill the big Wraith, that wouldn't be the best of ideas, because if Crown shows incentive to go over here, then he leaves himself susceptible to getting coned by Graves, probably up against the wall, like right here. And that's not something that you want to do. He could still out-trade Graves, but that's just not very good, because you're gonna delay your recall too much, so that's gonna be pretty bad. Oh man. All right. I dropped some more frames. I hope it didn't. Thank you, Love Toby 6. Thank you, Rabstars. Okay, what's this? In the second clip, it is way better not to stay in lane with 500 HP. Pushes out the lane instantly and gets a really good base out of it. Using his Eon Wraiths would have delayed his base and given him a really bad base timing. When all of Splice live again, Crown is back in mid lane with full health, mana, and new items without dropping a single CS of the following wave. Okay. This is the second opportunity where he could have 8 Wraiths. He was also claiming that not having vision. Oh, wait. What? Oh, okay. Now, first off, he said that he doesn't have vision, but Summonerless Sencooks, who's also down a level, flash on Victor, Q on Victor, super item advantage on Victor. It may look even, but it's not, because Victor generally is supposed to be behind here. And they probably know exactly where Graves is. As you can see, the ping goes down onto Wraiths, actually. But this isn't the 500 HP, so what is going on? This is all that he needs to do. Do you see how fast Victor clears that? That's it. Death Ray. Oh, man. Where is this fucking... Where is this thing that he speaks of? In the second clip. Alright, we're gonna click the second clip. Ah, fuck, I clicked back. Oh, yeah, Crown should take Wraiths here. 100%. Always he takes Wraiths here. So, this is the thing that I talked about. Okay, now, this guy makes the comment that Crown gets a bad base if he recalls here, but Sencooks is coming back to lane, down on tower damage. Top lane is going to reset because Wonder's dead. Bottom lane is also going to reset in the next coming moments. There is zero incentive to have any sort of another team fight occur. Sencook's down in summoners, trashy down in summoners, which means that he's just useless mid lane because Victor just places gravity field and any attempt at killing Victor is going to be gone. So right here, I mean, Eing this wave is okay, but he doesn't need to do this. Rather than Eing this wave, so we're just going to watch this really quick. So what I mentioned before is he can go over with Rumble if he wants to eat the wave. If he also wants to simultaneously E this wave too. But what he can do, okay, is before even Eing this wave, I guess I didn't even mention this before. See, this is what I mean. There's so many available options that actually can happen. So Crown, before even hitting this wave, there's no need to hit this wave, okay? Sencooks gets back in mid. By the way, Victor, yeah, okay, Victor has 541 HP. He'll probably go up to 600 after all is said and done. So he's at 600 HP with Flash, with the Q shield. And Cassiopeia is ultimateless, summonerless, and Trashy's dead. What's unsafe? I don't know what's unsafe. What is Cassiopeia gonna do? Get the next wave and then be a sitting duck for 30 seconds because there's no incoming wave from Nexus? Or I'm not quite following what the thought process is. But let me explain it to you, because I actually play against professional players all the time on the Korean server, and I made it a point to study the elite of the elite, and most notably Apto. So when it comes to Victor, I feel very comfortable explaining this to you. So have a seat. So what's going to happen here is, again, there's three options. Either CS this wave right now, walk with Rumble, eat Wraiths, wrap around. If Victor needs a better recall, Ambition comes to mid, eats the wave. And so this wave is not eaten by Crown at all. This would be if Crown wants to take Wraiths and then take Wolves. And then Wolves would end up granting him a similar but not an exact gold amount, and it would also allocate some XP and gold to the jungler. Okay, that's number one. Number two is Crown does not E this wave. Crown walks up to Wraiths with Rumble. Okay, Crown E's the Wraith over the wall. Cassiopeia cannot kill him. Rumble assists. They kill the Wraith. Crown walks back down. At this point, Cassiopeia maybe is right here, or she's right here. Fucking bitch, have a gravity field. So a gravity field comes down. Crown is able to make it back to over here. Crown E's, the entire wave dies except for the front line. Then Crown backs up, eats his own goddamn Wraiths, and then he recalls too. And Sencooks is like, man, I'm really getting cucked in the mid lane. And he complains to his jungler, who can't do anything because it's a Graves without Flash against a Victor in mid. So there's that. And then I don't get that. There's nothing unsafe here. I feel like this guy saying this is unsafe is like the solo queue player that flashes at 400 HP. Like, and you're just sitting there and you're like, why did you flash? Like, you know, like there's no lethal on board, but like a skirmish was breaking out and the skirmish lasted 2 seconds. He was only used to it lasting 1 second, so he flashes and it's like salty Teemo stream all over again, and I don't know what to say. And you know, I said I wasn't gonna make like humor and jokes and stuff because I'm really not in the mood. And the point of this isn't to fucking like ridicule this person, or whatever, because honestly, he probably just doesn't know any better. Like, he's probably religious. Okay, no, I'm kidding. There's actually some intelligent religious people that I've met, and people can believe whatever they want. But I'm sure that some of the people found the humor in my comment. Oh man. So I mean, I don't know. I think that I answered everything that he seemed to have criticism about. I'm always open to challenges. I implore challenges like this. I think this is very fun. I think it's also very educational, because if people are seeing things in such a negative way, and I mean, I'm able to sandbox it, quote unquote, I am more than happy to do so for people. More than happy to just like spread information, because that's something I actually like. There's a stereotype about me that I just like to fucking berate people and other stuff, and sometimes I make judgment calls in coaching sessions to be a little bit hard, and I can be very abrasive, and I like to speak in absolutes, and sometimes the way that I speak is probably not best perceived by, you know, everyone. So what ends up happening is there's this assumption that I just fucking hate foreigners, and I fucking just hate like anything that has to do with the game with a foreigner in it or anything like that, even though it's not true at all. I just care about actually educating. And you know, along the way there will be disagreements because no one knows everything in this game, especially because the game is ever changing. But the thing that I like to take pride in is that my main focus point when I'm reviewing this stuff is to make it as sandboxable as possible and to reverse engineer it, because reverse engineering is the fastest way to come to an answer. It's a lot better than guess and check, which is what a lot of people try to do. Reverse engineering is the best thing, which is also why I love the Fog of War stream that Riot's offering. I think if you guys haven't checked that out, you definitely want to check that out. Oh man. See this comment, I can't tell. Hey baby, can you turn on the AC? I'm like, my fever's pretty bad. I'm gonna need to take an Uber. I can't tell if this comment's real. Is there a new comment? Oh man. Thank you, Arkham Avalon, for subbing. Monty's tweet. How do I do this? I fucking hate. Probably rip this up to YouTube. Oh man. Do I follow her? No, I don't. Oh, she follows me! Oh, she refollowed me. Hello. Mm. Hi, Bull Bear. There's no webcam, Bull Bear. Yeah, we love your 3 ties. Alright, so, Bull Bear. Okay. I'm gonna need to take some more fucking ibuprofen. Who wants me to go over the draft of TSM? Because I have an interesting theory about the TSM draft. I'm gonna need to rip this from my Twitch really quick. Give him the TSM coach? What? The TSM coach is with me. Oh man. Oh, the former TSM coach. I don't know. I had a pretty long talk with Monty before any of this even happened. By the way, I reached out to Monty for some advice and stuff. And I realized, like, I do watch back the VODs, mostly of LCK. I haven't had the chance to do with Worlds. I am so fucking sick right now, guys. Honest to God, I go into Riot. They give me 1,200 milligrams ibuprofen, and they give me 325 milligrams acetaminophen Mucinex, or whatever the fuck, or what the fuck is it? I don't know. I have Tylenol right next to me. That's not the Mucinex. I take that shit. I take that cocktail. I go through about 3 Arrowhead water bottles, and then I do the game, and then I've had 1 game downtime. I go back up to the green room. I play some Hearthstone. I just, relax and shit. Feel like death, but I'm not gonna fucking miss out on Worlds. I'm just not. Like, any other event, I'm done. Like, fuck you guys. I'll pay you not to be there. Like, but I'm in pretty bad shape right now, and today I'm gonna be casting after having stayed up. By the time I start casting, I will have been awake 34 hours. So that's gonna be fun. So my brain is just gonna be fucking wamboozled. Alright. So, you guys want me to go over the theory of TSM's draft? Because I can do that. I can't sleep. I would have to wake up in 2 hours anyway. No, I can't sleep. Because I have to go to Riot early. I can't sleep. I'm gonna get that Red Bull, you know what I'm saying? Okay, wait, hold on. Someone said, in your analysis was Sven dodging... Okay. The dodging of the cocoon. This is game-shattering. Okay, and this is why, actually, I wanted, Ambition. I always get nervous when Ambition's on Elise and, Nidalee. I always get nervous. This is why I actually wanted him to pick, Kindred. I know some people tweeted at me that the Kindred, the Kindred recommendation is ludicrous, but honestly, it's really not when you look at how TSM needs to close out a late game team fight. I think Kindred is pretty good. Alright, let's find that. Then I'm going to go over the draft phase. You don't have anything personal against me, my ass. I don't even get these type of... I don't get this long of messages from my mother, okay? Like, get out of here with that. Also, I said Crown dominated Bjergsen in the laning phase, to which also Lsxyzcoaching agreed, okay? We're just going to watch this really quick. We're going to watch it on X2, okay? I'm really excited for when they meet again, though, because I think that the matchup will be much closer, and I don't think Bjergsen's going to get Syndra. Okay, let's just watch this on X2 if fucking the internet here and YouTube will grant me that ability. So the laning phase just started. Lots of dodges on the Qs, and then Bjergsen comes out ahead in the trade. Remember, it's Cookie versus Corrupting Pot, too. So Bjergsen gets the level 2, he lands that, but then Crown claps back, and that was huge. Because again, see that? You saw the juke and shit. Like, these are all mind games. This is super high level. So, right now, okay, Bjergsen's out of cookies. Crown still has 1 Corrupting Pot left. And the lane is in a favorable position for Crown. Okay, so Crown is clapping back real hard, and this is supposed to be a huge window of opportunity for Syndra to just annihilate Varus. So, am I hyped for Crown? Absolutely. Look at that fucking juke. That was good. That was good by Bjergsen. The clap back right there with the stun, that was really good. These movements are so delicate. I can't stress. Look at this recall by Syndra. You think she wants this? Fuck no, she doesn't. Syndra wants a 900, Syndra wants a 975, or like a, ideally she wants a 1025 recall, that way she can get the Lost Chapter Pink Ward Potion. Varus just needs that sweet 720. So of course Varus is so happy. This also means that Crown has won himself an entire wave over Bjergsen. This was level 1 through 4. So, like, you know, people want to rip at my tweets or something, or like what I was saying on the cast. Crown fucking drove him into the ground levels 1 through 4. There's no way that you can say otherwise. Syndra should always be way further ahead here. Syndra should never be recalling at this point in the game. Crown did phenomenal. And this is what I was excited to see. I was excited to see this type of stuff happen without the chaos. And obviously fucking credit to Bjergsen for getting that sick fucking cheesy... it's not even cheesy. It's just like Crown had like a brain fart that like Bjergsen was holding the W or something. And you know, credit to him. And then off that lead, Bjergsen is too fucking good, and he's not gonna, you know, give up breathing room or anything. Because as I said, Syndra's recovery punish is insane. It is so good. So I just wanted to watch this. But anyways, let's go to the first one. Alright. So this... Okay, well, that's actually past the cocoon. This is really nice roam timing by Bjergsen, by the way, because he doesn't really move. He doesn't really lose too much. Where the fuck is the goddamn cocoon? Do we get a clip of it? I hope that we get a clip of it. See this by Ambition? This is actually really bad. Please show me. Oh my god. I think we need it in the replay. Give me that replay. Where are you? Oh, okay. No! I think a lot of people said that Svenskeren juked it, but I think it was a hitbox error by Ambition. Let's see. Give me that sweet delish. That's a hitbox error. There's no reason to shoot the trajectory like this, because the problem is Svenskeren, like, no matter what, this is max range. Oh, let me use a finer point. Fucking, where's fucking Epic Pen? Where are you? Where are you, Epic Pen? It doesn't even like show. It's not even on my taskbar right now. This is really weird. I can't use a finer point pen. So okay, the very top of this blue line is the end range of the cocoon. Okay, there's no way for Svenskeren to get to that and, you know, juke it that way. So because of this, from where Elise is standing, the trajectory should always just be like this, and then if we determine that this should be the trajectory, then obviously the cocoon wants to be like this, because when you factor in the hitbox, it is going to hit these edges right here. And then obviously it doesn't need to hit the wall or anything, so it's maximizing its area. If Ambition lands this, changes the entire game. Can TSM maybe salvage a kill because maybe Bjergsen's able to get over there? I don't think so, because I think Ambition's out by then. Because again, Rumble and Elise both have flash, and we saw that Haunter actually got bopped. So that cocoon is everything. They miss it, and it's just pretty painful. You know, this was a little bit weird. I don't think he needed to turn around. I don't think that even trading 1 for 2 there is that good. Let me turn off the AC. It's really cold now. Sorry. This was really good. And Lsxyzcoaching even pointed out how Crown even could have flashed the auto attacks and managed to live there, but he was being really greedy. This is really good by Bjergsen right here. Alright. So yeah.